Thinking about buying a condo in Southwest Florida? Before you do, there are a few things you need to understand, because one mistake here can be very expensive. Most people consider a condo for low maintenance living, great shared amenities, and because condos often feel more affordable than a house. But in Southwest Florida, condos come with risks most buyers don't fully understand until after they've already closed. And the last thing I'm going to cover in this video is the biggest hidden risk of all. So if a condo is even on your radar, you'll want to watch this all the way to the end. Let's start with why condos feel like the easiest option and why that assumption can get people into trouble. One of the biggest reasons people are drawn to condos in Southwest Florida is because they feel easier. No yard work, no exterior maintenance, fewer moving parts. You lock the door, you leave, and someone else handles the rest. And if you're retiring, buying a second home, or planning to split your time between states, that sounds perfect. But here's a trap. Condos don't eliminate responsibility, they redistribute it. Instead of you being in control, responsibility is shared across dozens, sometimes hundreds of other owners. And in Southwest Florida, that matters more than people realize. Florida buildings age faster than buildings in most parts of the country. Salt air, heat, humidity, storm exposure. So while a condo might feel hands-off, the reality is the building itself needs constant, expensive attention. Here's what catches people off guard. When you own a house, you see problems developing. With a condo, you often don't. Deferred maintenance can stay hidden for years until it suddenly isn't. And when it shows up, it doesn't show up as an inconvenience, it shows up as a bill. When you buy a condo, you're trading control for convenience. You don't decide when the roof gets replaced, you don't decide how aggressively the building saves money, you don't decide how risk is managed. You're trusting a board, a management company, and a group of owners, many of whom have different priorities than you do. This is especially risky for people relocating or buying a second home, because you don't know yet which buildings are well run, which ones are financially strained, and which ones are quietly kicking the can down the road. On paper, two condos can look identical. In reality, one might be stable, and the other might be sitting on a financial time bomb. This is why smart condo buyers don't just fall in love with the unit, they evaluate the association. They want to know who's running the building, how decisions get made, and whether the HOA is proactive or reactive. Because easy only stays easy when the system behind it is well managed. And this is why the idea that condos are safer or simpler can be misleading, especially in Southwest Florida. As we move through the next few points, you'll see how this loss of control shows up in your fees, your insurance, your financing, and eventually your ability to sell. And it all starts right here with the assumption that easy automatically means low risk. Next, let's talk about maintenance, because with condos, it never actually goes away, it just gets shared. One of the biggest selling points of a condo is maintenance. No mowing, no roof repairs, no exterior upkeep. But here's the truth, maintenance never goes away, it just gets shared. In a condo, you're still paying for maintenance. You're just paying for it through monthly fees, reserves, and sometimes special assessments. And in Southwest Florida, those maintenance items are not small. When you own a condo here, you're helping maintain things like roofs that take a beating from sun and storms, elevators that run year-round in heat and humidity, pool pumps and mechanical systems, and in waterfront communities, seawalls and docks. Even if you're on the third floor and never touch these things, you're still financially responsible for them. Here's where things get risky. Some condo associations try to keep fees low by postponing maintenance. That sounds good at first until it isn't, because deferred maintenance doesn't disappear, it compounds. And when it finally has to be addressed, the cost is usually much higher than if it had been handled gradually from the beginning. Most buyers don't see this risk because it doesn't show up in the unit, but the most expensive problems live outside the unit. This matters more in Southwest Florida than in many other parts of the country, because our buildings are exposed to more stress, more wear, and more regulation, especially in older condo communities. Remember, this isn't maintenance you control. You don't choose the timing, you don't choose the contractor, and you don't always get a say in the cost. You're sharing those decisions with everyone else in the building. That's why two condos with the same square footage and similar monthly fees can have completely different risk profiles. This is exactly why understanding an HOA's financials matters so much. Smart buyers look at things like reserve balances, whether a reserve study exists, and how HOA fees have changed over time. Because a history of stable increases is usually healthier than artificially low fees followed by big spikes. And this is where a lot of buyers start to feel the impact financially, because when maintenance costs rise, they show up somewhere, and most often that's in your monthly fees. So next, let's talk about waterfront condos, because in Southwest Florida, not all water is created equal. If you're considering a condo in Southwest Florida, there's a good chance that waterfront is part of the appeal. A view, a breeze, the lifestyle, and that makes sense. The water is a huge part of why people move here in the first place. But here's something a lot of buyers don't realize. In Southwest Florida, waterfront can mean very different things, and those differences matter a lot. You've got Gulffront condos, riverfront condos, canal front condos, and inland communities with water views. From a lifestyle perspective, those might all feel very similar. But from a financial and risk perspective, they're not even close. Gulffront condos offer incredible views, but they also come with the highest exposure. Canal front and riverfront condos come with their own considerations. Seawalls, docks, boat lifts. Even if you don't own a boat, you're still helping pay for those structures. Here's a big misconception. Just because a condo has water nearby doesn't mean the flood risk is the same. Two waterfront condos a mile apart can have completely different insurance profiles, and that directly impacts your monthly costs and long-term affordability. Relocation buyers often focus on the view and the lifestyle first. That's normal, but it's easy to underestimate how much the type of water impacts long-term costs. What looks like a small premium up front can turn into a much bigger financial commitment over time. This is why waterfront condos need to be evaluated differently, not emotionally. The right waterfront condo can be incredible, but only when the long-term costs make sense. And this leads directly into the next thing you need to understand, because even if the building itself is solid, and even if the water exposure is manageable, the rules around renting can completely change the financial flexibility of a condo. So next, let's talk about short-term rental rules and why they're not as simple as most buyers assume. One of the biggest safety nets buyers believe they have with a condo is this: if I ever need to, I'll just rent it. But in Southwest Florida, that assumption gets a lot of condo owners into trouble. Here's what most buyers don't realize. Rental rules don't come from one place. They come from three: the city or county, the condo association, and sometimes the building's lender or insurance provider. All three matter. Even if a city allows short-term rentals, the condo association can prohibit them entirely or restrict them heavily. Common rules include minimum lease terms, limits on how often you can rent per year, caps on the number of units that can be rented at any one time, and once those caps are hit, new owners can get locked out. Some buyers assume seasonal renting solves the problem, but seasonal rental rules still limit how often you can rent and for how long. That could be a big issue if your plans change, health issues, family changes, or deciding you want to use the property differently than you expected. I've seen buyers purchase condos assuming rental income would offset costs, only to find out later that building doesn't allow rentals the way they thought. By then, fees, taxes, and insurances are still due, whether the unit is rented out or not. With higher interest rates, insurance costs, and condo fees, flexibility matters more than ever. If you lose the ability to rent when you need to, your margin disappears fast. This is why rental assumptions should always be verified in writing. Smart buyers review the condo documents themselves, not just marketing descriptions, because flexibility only helps if it actually exists. And when that flexibility disappears, the next place costs show up is in your monthly fees. Which leads us to the next thing you need to understand, because condo fees in Southwest Florida don't behave the way most people expect. Next, let's talk about condo fees and why they almost never stay where they start. When buyers compare condos, one of the first things they look at is the monthly fee. It feels predictable, it feels fixed. But in Southwest Florida, condo fees don't behave that way. A lot of buyers think condo fees are like a utility bill, something that might fluctuate a little, but mostly stays stable. In reality, condo fees are more like a variable expense tied to things you don't control. Here are the biggest drivers of rising condo fees in Southwest Florida: insurance premiums, maintenance and repair costs, labor and materials, and new reserve requirements. Every one of those has been moving in the same direction. Insurance alone has caused major fee increases in many condo communities. And when insurance jumps, owners don't get a choice. It gets passed through to the monthly fee. Ironically, very low condo fees can actually be a red flag, because it often means one of two things. Either the building is brand new, or the association hasn't been saving enough money. And if they haven't been saving enough money, that gap eventually gets filled one way or another. Relocation and second home buyers often budget based on today's numbers, but what really matters is where those fees are headed. A condo that looks affordable now can feel very different after a few years of increases. This is why today's fee matters less than the trend. Smart buyers look at past fee increases, upcoming budget discussions, and how well the reserves are funded. A well-run association plans for rising costs instead of reacting to them. And when fees can't absorb the full cost of major repairs or upgrades, that's when owners get hit with something much more painful. Next, let's talk about special assessments, because they're far more common than most buyers expect. When people hear the phrase special assessment, they usually think of it as a rare worst-case scenario, something that almost never happens. In Southwest Florida, that's just not true. A special assessment happens when a condo association needs money for a major expense and the reserves aren't enough to cover it. So instead of spreading that cost out over time, the association bills the owners directly, sometimes over months, sometimes all at once. Special assessments are especially common in Southwest Florida for a few reasons. A lot of older buildings, rising construction costs, and new safety and reserve requirements. All that has created a perfect storm. After the Surfside collapse, Florida changed how condos are regulated. Buildings now face stricter inspections and reserve requirements. That's a good thing for safety, but it also forced many associations to confront repairs they've been postponing for years. And those costs don't disappear, they get passed on to the owners. Special assessments aren't small inconveniences. They can be thousands of dollars per unit, sometimes tens of thousands. Most buyers don't realize how likely special assessments are because they don't show up in listings. Smart buyers review meeting minutes, engineering or inspection reports, and upcoming capital projects. Next, let's talk about condo insurance and why having coverage doesn't always mean you're protected. Most buyers assume that as long as a condo is insured, they're protected. But condo insurance in Southwest Florida doesn't always work the way people expect. With condos, there are actually two different insurance policies in play: the association's master policy and your individual unit policy. Most buyers focus on the unit policy, but the master policy is the one that creates the biggest risk. The master policy covers the building itself, the structure, the roof, the common elements. And in Southwest Florida, those policies have become more expensive, more restrictive, and harder to replace. Some associations have seen massive premium increases. Others have faced limited carrier options. And a few have struggled to get adequate coverage at all. Here's something most buyers don't realize. Even when a building is insured, the deductible can be extremely high. In some cases, the deductible is so large that a single event still results in significant out-of-pocket costs for owners. That cost gets shared, just like everything else. Insurance problems don't just increase fees. They can affect financing, they can affect resale, and they can affect whether buyers are even allowed to purchase in the building. Because lenders and buyers pay close attention to insurance coverage. Smart buyers ask, who insures the building? What are the deductibles? And has the association had trouble renewing coverage? Insurance stability is just as important as insurance costs. And this leads directly into the next thing you need to understand. Because even if you love the unit, even if the fees seem manageable, even if the building looks fine, the age of the building itself can quietly dictate everything. Next, let's talk about building age and why it matters more than the renovations inside your unit. One of the most misleading things about buying a condo is how good it can look on the inside. New floors, updated kitchen, fresh paint, modern bathrooms. It feels move-in ready. It feels safe. But in Southwest Florida, the age of the building itself matters far more than the finishes inside your unit. You can renovate a condo unit. You cannot renovate a building by yourself. And the most expensive problems live in the parts you don't see. Concrete structures, plumbing stacks, electrical systems, elevators. Those systems age whether the unit is renovated or not. In Southwest Florida, many condo buildings were constructed in the 1970s, 80s, and 90s. That doesn't automatically make them bad, but it does mean many of them are now reaching the stage where major, expensive components need attention. Florida's inspection and reserve requirements have changed. Older buildings are now required to take a hard look at their structural condition. And when those inspections uncover issues, associations are forced to act. Which brings us right back to the rising fees and special assessments. Most buyers don't connect the beautifully updated unit with future building level costs. They assume the renovation somehow reduces risks. But in reality, renovations can mask it. Smart buyers want to know what major systems have already been updated, what's coming next, and how those projects are being funded. A renovated unit inside a neglected building is still a risky purchase. And this leads directly into the next thing you need to understand. Because even if a building looks fine and even if repairs are coming, the real question is whether the association is financially prepared for them. Next, let's talk about HOA financials and why they can quietly make or break a condo investment. Most condo buyers never look closely at the HOA financials. They glance at the monthly fee and move on. That's a mistake. The financial health of the condo association determines almost everything. How maintenance is handled, whether reserves are adequate, how often fees increase, and whether special assessments become necessary. If the association is financially weak, the owners feel it eventually. One of the biggest red flags in Southwest Florida condos is underfunded reserves. Reserves are supposed to be the savings account for big repairs. When reserves are low, there's only one place the money can come from: owners. In many older Florida condo communities, reserves were intentionally kept low for years to avoid raising fees. That kept monthly costs attractive, but it pushed the real costs into the future. Now with new regulations and aging buildings, those bills are coming due. When HOA finances weaken, everything else starts to break. Fees rise, assessments appear, insurance becomes harder to manage, and buyers and lenders start to pull back. That's when values come under pressure. You're not just buying a condo, you're buying into the financial credibility of the association. If buyers or lenders lose confidence in that association, demand drops. And when demand drops, prices follow. This is where working with someone who understands condo financials really matters. Smart buyers don't just ask, what are the fees? They ask, is this association financially prepared for the next 10 years? That question alone eliminates a lot of risk. And this is where things can change very quickly. Because once lenders start paying attention to HOA financials, financing itself can disappear. Next, let's talk about condo financing and how it can quietly dry up overnight. Most buyers assume that if they're able to finance a condo today, financing will be available when they want to sell. But with condos in Southwest Florida, that assumption can break down very quickly. Condos aren't financed the same way single-family homes are. Lenders don't just evaluate the buyer, they evaluate the entire building. And if that building doesn't meet certain criteria, financing can be restricted or disappear entirely. Some condos are considered warrantable. That means they meet lender guidelines. Others are not warrantable. When a condo becomes non-warrantable, most traditional loans are off the table. That immediately shrinks your buyer pool. Financing issues can be triggered by things buyers don't expect. Too many rentals, too many units owned by investors, weak reserves, insurance issues, pending litigation. None of those things are visible when you tour the unit. Here's another piece most buyers don't realize. Very few condos in Southwest Florida qualify for FHA or VA financing. Those loan programs have their own approval requirements, and most condo buildings don't meet them. And that matters more than people think, because FHA and VA buyers make up a meaningful portion of the market, especially in certain price ranges, sometimes as much as 33%. When a building isn't approved, that entire group of buyers is automatically eliminated. This is why smart buyers want to know how financeable a building is today and how stable that status really is. Not just whether they can personally get a loan, but whether the next buyer will have the same options. Because resale value depends heavily on how easy it is for someone else to buy. And this brings us to the most important and most overlooked risk of all. Next, let's talk about the exit strategy trap, the one that catches almost everyone off guard. Everything we've talked about so far, fees, assessments, insurance, building age, HOA finances, and financing leads to this, the exit strategy. Most condo buyers assume this: if I ever need to sell, I'll just sell. But in Southwest Florida, that's not always how it works. When you buy a condo, you're not just buying a unit, you're buying into a system that you don't control. Here's how this catches people off guard. Fees rise, assessments hit, insurance becomes more expensive or more limited, financing dries up. Individually, those are manageable. Together, they shrink your buyer pool and pressure your price. A lot of owners say, I'm not planning on selling. But life changes. Health changes, family situations change, financial priorities change. And when you need to sell, that's not the moment you want to discover the system is working against you. Single-family homes tend to have broader buyer pools. Condos are more sensitive. They're affected first when financing tightens. They're affected first when costs rise. And they're affected first when buyers get cautious. That doesn't mean condos are bad. It means the margin for error is smaller. This is why the smartest condo buyers stress test the decision before they buy. They look at how the building holds up under pressure, not just how it looks on a good day. They ask whether the condo still makes sense if fees rise, if insurance changes, or if finance tightens. Because flexibility, not optimism, is what protects you long term. This isn't about avoiding condos, it's about understanding them. Because the most expensive condo mistakes aren't about the unit you buy, they're about the exit you didn't think through. If you understand this and really understand it, you can make a smart condo decision in Southwest Florida. If you don't, you're relying on assumptions that can cost you a lot later. And that's really the point of this video. Condos can absolutely make sense in Southwest Florida. They offer a lifestyle a lot of people are intentionally looking for. The key isn't finding a perfect condo, it's understanding the trade-offs you're making when you choose one. Most of the risks we talked about aren't deal breakers. They're just things that need to be understood up front. Because when you know what you're buying into, you can decide whether it actually fits your goals. So if a condo is something you're seriously considering, or even just exploring, and you have some questions, please feel free to reach out. You don't need to be ready to buy. You don't need to have everything figured out. Sometimes one conversation is enough to surface a risk you didn't even know to look for. And with condos, that can make all the difference. If you're retired, planning retirement, buying a second home, or splitting time between states, and you want a sanity check on a condo before you move forward, that's exactly what these conversations are meant for. And if you're not quite ready to talk yet, I put together a relocation guide that walks you through Southwest Florida. Areas, lifestyles, housing options, and the things most people don't learn until after they've moved. It's there to help you get oriented and make better decisions before money is on the line. Whether you buy a condo, a house, or decide to wait, the goal is clarity. Because the right decision made with the wrong assumptions can still lead to the wrong outcome. If this video helped you see condos differently, take the next step that makes sense for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.